the last 70 days of his life, Vincent Van Gogh completed approximately 100 paintings, over 1,880 in his entire lifetime. Experts link his creativity to mental illness. I like to believe that he was enviably focused. I always had focus issues, but that is easy to compensate with natural ability. A natural ability to just put down words on a page and have someone find immense value in your chicken scratches. You don't attempt to do anything differently, you just do. But in many ways, you don't do. You just don't. In the late 1700s, the most accurate map of the stars existed in the mind of William Herschel. Every night he waded into the Thames and swept the sky with his telescope for hours, memorizing every distant object that caught his eye. It's because of his devotion that he is credited with doubling the radius of the known universe at the time. Devotion was something I always lacked. Until now. Here I am out of high school, bottom 5%, A's in nothing but writing. An A-grade bullshitting machine. The result of doing and doing nothing. The embryo of a life of fantastic bullshit, because being a teenager who begrudgingly graduates high school is just the beginning. As a younger man, I was always purposely apathetic, devoting all of my already marginal focus towards making a statement through simultaneously doing and not doing. This aspect of my youth drove my parents absolutely mad. No doubt I could write, but I perceived this endowment merely as a capacity for bullshitting. My parents didn't agree with my standpoint on this, but self-righteous as I wasn't going to listen to anyone else's opinions of myself, especially my parents, against whom I was most rebellious. I see now that all this was a huge mistake. Not the listening to other people's opinions bit, but not observing my own talent as a phenomenal bullshitter. I was 19 years old. It was 1968. Vietnam was escalating. I should have been a freshman in college, but I wasn't. And if there was one thing Nietzsche taught me after I failed a class about him, it was that I was fucked. And that sat well with me. But despite my desire to never show my true face to fear, I did not want to be drafted. I didn't want to leave, die, and have nothing to show for my interrupted life. So when the opportunity to do something different arose, I seized it. Here I am graduating high school, cum laude, third in a class of 413. My most consistent courses were always in writing, so you could say I had a natural affinity for extrapolations, fudging the truth a little. Regardless, I had graduated with a 3.9 GPA, the result of years of striving for nothing but success. The embryo of a decent life. If there was one thing I always possessed, it was focus. I was 19 years old. It was 1991. I was 19 years old. It was 2001. Al-Qaeda terrorists had just destroyed the Twin Towers in New York less than 2 months ago, and the fear of death was ubiquitous. Everyone felt as if an attack was imminent, and everyone was going to suffer. I was afraid, but I was even more afraid to show it. I didn't want to die young, and have nothing to show for my interrupted life. So when the opportunity to prove myself arose, I seized it. Remember me? So when is that opportunity going to come my way? When is that groundbreaking experiment on supersymmetry going to be published? When is that cure for cancer going to be found? When are flying cars going to hit the market? Who will be the next Rolling Stones? Who will direct the next Citizen Kane? When will extraterrestrial life be found? When will the next city be built? Who will build it? And who will be remembered for it? Who will be the next person to amount to anything? I am all these things. I lied. But what about? The story is really going somewhere. Don't you believe me? Stephen Glass was an up-and-coming journalist for the New Republic, a magazine in Washington, D.C. He crafted enjoyable, thrilling articles and gained a substantial following. He was a fantastic writer, a fantastic bullshitter. He was later fired after his editor found his most recent article was entirely fabricated. It was discovered soon after that 27 out of his 41 articles were fabricated in some way. He really had him going. In order for his articles to pass fact checks, he would submit his own materials, which in some cases were the only material editors had available to fact check. Sure, it must have looked shady, but still no one caught on for quite some time. Sometimes you need to extrapolate a little bit to make a statement or show you're capable of something. Sometimes you need to extrapolate to grab interest. Sometimes you need to lie outright and just assume they will take your word for it. You just need to sound smart. You need to do your research. Everyone will love it. Life is a fickle cycle anyways. Everything is always changing, so who the fuck is going to fact check you and catch something at the rate we're moving? I believe the more important question is, who's going to care once they realize you have nothing to show them? So you lie because you just can't do it. You say you're going to seize it, but you can't. You're too lazy. You're too tired. You're too stupid. You're too scared. I didn't want to lie, but I did. And I can't even do that right. But I've been caught up in a lie that's going nowhere for so long that I don't even know where the truth begins and where it ends and what everything in between is. The only thing left to do is to go back to the very beginning. I am dead. It's the end of time.